Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to episode 9 of The Season Keepers, the show where the only two people we recommend keeping for the season is us. My name's Matt, aka Clean Sheet Wipeout.
And my name's James, aka FPL Drug.
See, you got a new top there, James.
New shirt, you may not guess it immediately. It's a Leisure Warsaw away shirt. And I basically bought it from this great little account on Twitter that I discovered last week, at Surprise Shirts. Basically what they do is they pick out a random football shirt for you. You just say your size and then send it to you in the post.
Oh, brilliant. Obviously,
yeah, and I got the Polish champions from that year, 2018.
We are by no means being paid by these guys to promote that, but I think it's quite a cool idea. Like, you know, you pay your money, you get a surprise shirt in the post. So
yeah.
I think I might give it a go.
It's a nice shirt. It's a good bit of fun. I had no idea what I was going to get. I think they do tend to exclude the UK teams due to the tribal nature of fans, but
it's understandable.
Yeah, no, I'm very happy with it.
Is it just home and away shirts that they do, or do they do training tops as well?
They also do training tops. I think the training tops are a cheaper option if you can't afford the main shirt. But some great options out there.
No, brilliant. No, check them out, guys. Right, we've got a hell of a lot to talk about. So should we just get cracking?
Yeah, let's get going.
What a fucking mad game week that was, I tell you.
Crazy.
Oh my, right, we'll jump straight in. Chelsea 4, Crystal Palace 0. Now, I was at Portons Park on some roller coasters with my niece, so I'm going to let you take this one.
Well, an interesting game. Chelsea really pushed on in the second half. I think the scoreline's a little bit harsh on Palace, mainly down to the 2 penalties that obviously Jorginho had.
Bastard.
One for the casuals, that one. The ones with Jorginho in their team, 5-0. They're like, he'll go in your team, and he served them well, to be honest. Maybe a wise pick for all of us on pens. If Chelsea get pens, he takes them as Tammy Abraham knows.
I was keeping an eye on the updates on Sky, and occasionally they were like, there's an argument about the penalty. I was like, does this mean that Werner's actually going to finally take one? Turns out, I think it was Werner was the initial argument for the first pen, and then Abraham took the ball off Jorginho for the second, and then obviously Azpilicueta sorted him out, and Jorginho slotted it home. But that was a
fair play to Azpilicueta. I think he did what a true leader needs to do and just step in and reaffirm who the penalty taker is, and obviously it's Jorginho, and I think I'm on that side of the argument. It should be Jorginho's penalty.
Agreed, yeah.
How far up you are, I think it's his job.
Yep, it causes chaos as well, doesn't it? Like if you have a teammate that wants to take a pen and you're the one that stood there, you're the pen taker, the manager says you're the pen taker. It's extra pressure. Like you don't need that from your teammates.
Exactly. So, then you feel like you have to definitely score, otherwise he's going to be on your back. Yeah.
I think that's maybe like talking about Azpilicueta's kind of leadership there. That's potentially another reason why I think Reece James might not be such a good FPL option anymore.
Because he may well be rotated with Azpilicueta, or his minutes at least managed.
Yeah. I think that Chelsea kind of need that leadership at the back there. And obviously Azpilicueta's been a standout for years. And I don't think they're going to drop Ben Chilwell anytime soon after his performance.
Definitely not. The left back that we completely forgot about last week.
Yep, completely ignored him.
A great pick for FPL, 5.5. I don't know if he's probably risen now. I reckon he's 5.6.
He is. He's 5.6 now. Yeah,
it doesn't surprise me if the amount of rises going on.
No, he got 18 points last week, goal and assist, and 7.5% ownership at the moment. Just looking at it, but it seemed like he had a good performance, and he did that for Leicester as well, didn't he? Got goals, got assists.
Similar performance to the sort of ones you see at Leicester, where he's sort of bombing into the box and not afraid to shoot. I think that was his goal on Saturday.
No, it's definitely one to keep an eye on. Crystal Palace, what were your thoughts on them?
Not as defensively strong as we've seen previously. I think Roy wasn't very happy with some of the displays seen, but they were okay in the first half. But I think they just with the pens got a bit disheartened.
Is the criticism for Mitchell justified? I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying he was at fault for a couple of the goals, and they can't wait for Van Aanholt to come back.
I mean, he's a young lad. He's still learning. I think it's a bit harsh to start sort of knocking him down when he's at this sort of his first season he's come in. I don't see them dropping Mitchell, other than for obviously Patrick Van Aanholt coming back. But I think doesn't he play on the other side? Isn't he a right back?
No, I'm pretty sure the talk is that he'll. But there is rumours that Van Aanholt could be pushed further forward. But
okay.
No,
that would be interesting. But that would make him a very good option because he's always been a sort of an attacking fullback.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd risk Mitchell. Obviously, if you're wild carding and stuff at the moment, this place, potentially in doubt, and particularly for Sky and the overhaul that I think we'll touch on in another pod. That I wouldn't bring him in. I know he's incredibly cheap in that game, but
you may have Ferguson coming back as well.
Yeah,
into the team.
Exactly. So I don't think it's worth it. All right, let's jump on then. Everton 4, Brighton 2. Another cracking game.
Yep, plenty more goals. Brighton did look good again, to be honest. Obviously, defensively, not a particularly good showing, but I think that's more down to the attacking prowess of Everton than it was Brighton's poor performance. Neil Maupay, obviously, her standout for Brighton, scoring again.
I know.
Starting to become quite consistent. Could be Brighton Jimenez, I guess. This week aside for Jimenez, but
wow.
We'll come to that. That's why I brought him in, the bastard.
Tell me about it. Yeah, I didn't captain him, but my captaincy didn't go that well either. Obviously, Everton, consistent again. Calvert-Lewin doing what he does best.
Oh, fucking hell. I said in a Twitter group chat that every goal he scores is a knife in my heart. And this week was just as painful as any.
Is he 13 million yet?
Yeah, he should be. The way he's rising. 7.6, isn't it? Probably 7.7 now.
Yeah, I think he's gone up to 7.6. It's just an unbelievable run, isn't it? He's not stopping. And even
he's
when
great, I'm like, why have I not got him in my team? Yeah. But then I'm happy with my strikers I've got, to be honest. And I've got other fires I need to put out first. So I've just been kind of putting it off and seeing if he blanks. I was hoping he'd blank, to be honest.
Yeah, he didn't. And then you've obviously got James Rodriguez, got 2 goals and an assist this time round. And what a signing he's looking to be, isn't he? He's changed that attacking lineup. Obviously, they didn't have Alan in behind this time, but they seem to fit in well with Decore. Looked a pretty decent player on his day. Richarlison obviously went off injured after, I think it was recurrence of the injury he got in the cup game. Didn't really change much though, did it?
No. I thought they maybe look a bit worse without Richarlison, but they seem to be okay. Very impressed, obviously, with James Rodriguez. The quality signing they kind of needed.
Yeah, agreed.
I think that's what you call a proper signing. I think like you can spend money on players that aren't quite proven, but he's clearly a proven talent, and he's certainly a great player for the other Everton players to look up to.
Oh God, yeah.
I think that'll draw even more players into Everton if they want to spend even more money.
Yeah, the signings they've made is incredible. And even defensively, I saw that they signed Ben Godfrey on deadline day. Again, another very good kind of young centre-back. He's got pace. Some of the performances he put in for Norwich last season were exceptional. So I'm expecting big things for him. As part of the defensive Everton backline, you've got Pickford, who seems to continuously make mistakes at the moment, doesn't he?
He does. He's basically what Kepa was to Chelsea, Pickford is to Everton. And obviously Chelsea have got a new keeper in, but I know I've seen Everton have signed a new keeper. I think to provide competition for Pickford. So I don't know much about him, but it'd be interesting to see how he gets on, whether he starts some of the Premier League games even.
Potentially,
probably start him off in the cup, but we'll see.
He's only 4.5 million in FPL, so it's one to keep an eye on. But I saw how angry Pickford got after he made that mistake for Mope's goal. And that's something that's creeping into his performances quite a lot recently.
Yeah. An embarrassing mistake. He's making them every game. Obviously, the defenders aren't going to be very confident in him. And then that just... He's a good shot stopper, but he just makes too many errors. And in that position, you can't make errors.
No, I almost feel like he needs to be taken out the firing line. And as harsh as that sounds, every single mistake that he's making is being analysed by everybody now. So, obviously when he goes away with England, if he makes any mistakes on international duty, it's just going to be amplified. So, I personally think, maybe take him out. But it's difficult because they've only just brought another keeper. They'll probably end up betting him into the cup. And then you've still got the worry about Pickford. But going forward, they don't seem to have any problems. So as long as they score more goals than the other team, I think they're all right.
Very true. Yeah, the old Kevin Keegan philosophy: we'll score more than you.
Exactly.
I think Southgate should drop him personally. I think there's better England keepers out there.
Henderson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd 100% start Henderson over Pickford. But we'll have to wait and see. Should we then jump on to what Planet FPL dubbed as a tactical orgasm, which I fucking loved? Leeds 1, Man City 1. I don't quite think it was the kind of attacking goals that we wanted to see, but as attacking teams, I thought it was incredible.
Yeah, so not the goal fest we perhaps expected, agreed. But I described it in a tweet to Planet FPL as a sort of heavyweight boxing match, a thrilling heavyweight boxing match. Just two heavyweights slugging it out, going toe to toe.
Oh, God, yeah.
Great counter-attacks. Obviously, the goals didn't come, but the game was thrilling. I enjoyed every second that flew by.
Yeah, we should have seen more goals. I mean, obviously, from the moment when De Bruyne hit the post from that lovely free kick, I knew straight away my captaincy was fucked. But then, obviously, it was an interesting way that City set up. They kind of had Sterling wide left, Torres wide right, and then they played Mahrez through the middle, which took me by surprise a little bit. But I think it was to the benefit of Sterling because I prefer him cutting in from the left there. And obviously with his goal, he does that time and time again. Cuts in, dummies it, takes it past the defender, shuffles, and then bottom corner. Lovely finish.
Yeah, I prefer Sterling on the wing personally. And obviously we should have, by the looks of it, Aguero coming back soon.
Yeah, the
training.
Man City Twitter have been teasing some photos, haven't they? So fingers crossed, because I bloody love Aguero.
Yeah, great player to have, and obviously he's 10.5, might be a little bit less if some casuals had dropped him, took him out of their teams.
And obviously Leeds, they look brilliant. Both fullbacks could have scored. Dallas and Ayling both had opportunities, well saved. Obviously Bamford continues to play and looks a good prospect, and Rodrigo got his goal, didn't he? So
yeah,
I think Leeds are looking really good. They made another good signing in the windows. Rafinha has come in. So
yeah, Rafinha. I think he's coming at 5.5 in the game.
Yeah, I can see Bielsa maybe bedding him in a little bit, like he has done with Rodrigo. Kind of in and out of the team for the first few games, but another brilliant prospect in that midfield role. And to be fair, I think Leeds should easily finish top 10 for me. Keep playing the way that they're playing. Yeah, they're brilliant. They might get done on their day if teams figure out a way to kind of nullify that counter-attack and then get in behind them. But, they're going toe-to-toe with teams like Man City this season, and it's great to see.
Yeah, no, agreed. I'm looking forward to them playing Leicester, to be honest. I'll be interested to see how that pans out.
Oh, yeah.
Both counter-attacking the shit out of each other.
the one person I feel for is Bielsa. His hamstrings and stuff must be so tight, because all he does is squat for the entire game.
Fuck it, hasn't he?
I know, it's unbelievable. Yeah, like I just sit there and watch him. I'm like, I feel for him. I can feel it in my hamstrings as he does it. He's just there for 10, 15, 20 minutes at a time, just staring.
He's just got all the passion and anger running through his veins.
He does, yeah.
Holding him up.
Well, probably is. It's incredible to see. But no, I thoroughly thoroughly enjoyed this game. Like, I don't think I touched my phone once during it because it's one of those games I made sure that I told my niece, my 4-year-old niece, no, we've got to get back for the football. So we left Portons Park about 5 minutes before it closed, got back just in time for the game, and then she did her thing and I watched the game because I had to. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I wasn't missing it.
No. And obviously the final game on Saturday was Newcastle 3, Burnley 1. And you benefited big time from this fucking game.
Certainly did. I couldn't really believe what I was watching. I obviously joked before the game, 10 pointer for Sam Maximum incoming, and he went and got 12.
Outrageous.
I was delighted with having Sam Maximin and Wilson. The double up paid off.
Yeah, that was half your fantasy points were from those two players.
Just under half, yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, very happy. To be honest, I was looking to take out Son Maximin. It was more Wilson that I had faith in and was holding. So, yeah, I'm very grateful for the points.
Yeah, I think the patience when Saint Maximum paid off there. And again, like we mentioned, Sky, I held Saint Maximum for the Sky game because obviously we've got limited transfers. So I held him whilst he was injured, and he paid that off there. So that was quite nice to see. But it was good to see him play the football that we know he's capable of, because for the first, 2.5 games before he got injured, he was kind of stuck out on the left, wasn't he? But for this game, he was bombing forward. He was taking people on. He was making runs. It's the same maximum we want to see. And I think with the likes of, Fraser, Wilson around him, he's going to get more goals and more assists.
Yeah, I think so. I think he was free and available to do what he wanted. He also had the end product that we criticised him for.
Yeah.
So he took on 4 or 5 players. Normally that ends in either him getting fouled or twatting it over the bar wide. He put it in. Good finish. And I think, I'm excited to see what else he does now going forward. I think he may well stay in my team and I can focus on other transfers instead.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't be getting rid of him. He put 3 Burnley players on their arse for his goal, obviously.
No, exactly. I think he's actually gone down to 5.3 million now, which is a 0.2 drop in total, which is scandalous now if you think about it.
Yeah, and obviously Wilson's taken a drop as well. He's on 6.4 rather than 6.5. So you're losing team value, but you're getting points.
Yeah, I'm losing the team value left, right, centre. I've got had Ings on 8.4, Wilson on 8.4, 6.4, sorry. Son Maximin. So my team value, I think at the moment is 100 dead on. So it's not great. There's a lot more higher values I've seen baited around, but I'm doing all right. I'm good in the rankings, and I guess arguably that's where it matters.
Well, you're 3 million places above me, so yeah, you're doing all right.
Like that, it sounds good.
Exactly. Burnley, on the other hand, I think at the moment are in trouble. Obviously, we've seen Barnes is back fit. They've now got Tarkowski playing again. But it's not a great performance. Not a great performance at all.
Yeah, they've looked pretty ropey the last few games at the back, where previously they've been so reliable. I think obviously we got to take into account the injuries they've had and are having. So they've had to bed in new players like Dunn. I think we can only really give fair judgment when they get their key players back. I think for now, though, I'd avoid their defenders. I've got Charlie Taylor in my team, but he can just stay there at 4.5 in my squad.
There's no reason to get rid of. Just looking at their fixtures, you've obviously got West Brom next, and then they play Tottenham and Chelsea. But then you've got Brighton and Palace before they play City, Everton and Arsenal. So there's the potential for 2 or 3 clean sheets in there for Burnley. So if you've got the likes of Charlie Taylor as a rotatable bench asset, keep him. There's no reason why not.
I'm most likely playing Charlie Taylor next game.
Yeah.
I'll see who I've got.
I think you'd be mad not to be fair, against a team that, can score goals but are incredibly leaky. I could see Burnley potentially keeping a clean sheet against West Brom. They did nothing against us, which we'll touch on later. So let's move on then. So Sunday, the mindfuck that was, I say 6 games. It was 4 incredible games and 2 that weren't so great. But the first one being Leicester 0, West Ham 3. Another one that I didn't get to watch because I was so focused on the Saints game. But I know that you had your eye on it. So do you want to jump on?
Yeah, I watched a fair bit of it, and for me, it was a repeat of the Wolves game for West Ham. Another solid performance. They looked really impressive, just really organised and really
Mm.
balanced. Never seen a West Ham team in recent years look so balanced. Both everyone knew what they were doing in terms of jobs wise. I think defensively going forward as well, just unified, which you wouldn't expect considering the transfer activity they had in the summer.
No, no.
So yeah, very impressed, and I'd be looking to bring in West Ham players. I'd be looking at Bowen. I'd be looking at Antonio, especially with the price drop. I think you'd be mad not to look at Antonio.
Yeah,
Uh,
we both mentioned Antonio and Bowen on the last pod, and obviously they've now popped up again with a goal apiece. The bowl from Cresswell for Antonio's goal was incredible. What a ping that was!
a great crosser of the ball, great passer. As a defensive asset, he's more than capable of assists. And
Yeah,
maybe a budget Robertson, if you will, really for West Ham.
yeah, and watching on Match of the Day, that the thing that I loved was Antonio's kind of passion and willingness for that goal. He won the free kick, puts it down, then runs all the way to the box, knowing like Cresswell's going to place it where he is, and then he ends up, winning the header and scoring the goal. To make that run after winning that free kick just shows how much this guy's loving his football at the moment.
Yeah, he's a fantastic talent. I've always loved his strength, his brute strength. Like I've seen him sort of bully our Saints players off the ball when I saw an away game
Yeah,
at Upton Park, actually. Fantastic display up from Antonio on that day. I think he got 2 goals. He can score a scrappy goal. He can score beautiful goals. He can power pass someone. He's got pace. He's a great player. I think he's maybe a little bit underrated as well. I think if he wasn't at West Ham, I think people would be praising him a bit more. I think if he was in a Man United shirt doing the sort of things he does for West Ham, he'd be getting a bit more praise and notoriety.
yeah. Well, he hasn't even had a call up for England, has he? And I think he kind of joked a bit about that, and his interview with Match of the Day afterwards, or with BBC. The fact that he's got a pub in his house and he's going to be enjoying his little break. So
Yeah, he comes across as a very likable guy.
he really does. He really does.
Yeah, he's really down to earth and really just seemed like a nice bloke.
Yeah. I think he's just enjoying his football, and obviously that's only going to benefit him on the pitch. So.
Yeah, one to watch.
Leicester, on the other hand, what happened?
Yeah, so not what we saw against City, put it that way.
No.
Yeah, more reminiscent of the back end of last season where they were throwing away points left, right, and centre. Disorganised and didn't give Vardy any service. Like Vardy barely touched the ball. He had less touches of the ball than the goalkeepers.
That sums it up. I did see. It was quite funny. There was a Sky Bet ACCA boost, or a boost that they do, where they put it as evens for Jamie Vardy to get a shot on target. Obviously, I think it was a max bet of 15 quid, but I saw so many people lumping on saying, "Oh, guaranteed money, they're throwing away money, 0 shots on target, a toll for Leicester." So Sky must have made a fortune.
Messages.
Yeah, madness. Like when I saw that stat, I thought, no, that can't be right. But yeah, no shots on target. Obviously, they scored a goal, which was offside. Vardy was offside in the build-up marginally, but Barnes took his finish quite well there, which was unfortunate. But I think West Ham deserved the clean sheet on the day.
Yeah, fantastic performance from West Ham. Obviously, Bowen I mentioned earlier, one to look at as well. I think you want a midfielder.
I think this game at the moment is one of the games. Obviously, we'll touch on a few others, but one of the games that is summing up this kind of Premier League season at the moment, because Leicester looked so good in their last game, obviously against City, were bombing forward, hitting them on the break, and they had nothing this game. So I think chasing points is difficult at the moment, which is why I'm reluctant to both wildcard and make too many transfers, because you could only get burned. The people that have dove in to bring in Vardy, bring in Maddison, who obviously then got injured, and Harvey Barnes, to then have no returns must hurt.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think. Well, you didn't really see that. I didn't really see that coming. I saw the fixtures for Leicester and thought, yeah, they'll do all right at West Ham. Even with the way West Ham have been playing, I thought
Yeah,
they'd still do okay and probably win
likewise.
the game. So I was quite surprised to see West Ham turn them over as well as Wolves.
Yep.
Uh,
No,
yeah, especially
I think
the City performance.
a lot of us wrote West Ham off at the start of the season. I know we've mentioned it time and time again, but after that first game, we said, well, the next 7 fixtures, West Ham are fucked. Well, they're not. So there's no reason why not to jump on them. Saints 2, West Brom 0. Another good win for us, another clean sheet, which is brilliant to see. But I wouldn't read too much into it in terms of our defensive frailties, because these 2 games I wasn't expecting to be troubled in the way that obviously we saw ourselves troubled against Spurs. And I think the big test will come against Chelsea as to whether we've actually done anything to resolve our defensive woes.
I think so. I think we can't base it off of West Brom's attack. I mean, they've looked okay going forward, West Brom, but I think Chelsea will be the real test because they are a good team going forward. Werner aside, maybe.
Hey,
Um,
hey. He'll come good, I tell you, he'll come good. But
uh, yeah,
obviously,
some random goal scorers as well. Gineppo and Romeo.
Romeo.
Goal.
Fucking love the guy. Love the guy. I've got him in my Sky team, and I was absolutely buzzing when I saw him pop up with that volley. Poor. If only we were there. Can you imagine how mental the crowd would have gone had we witnessed him scoring that goal?
Oh, I'd love to have been there and seen that. I mean, I celebrate any Romeo goal like
Yep.
it's an absolute stunner. So the fact that it actually was a good goal was
Yeah.
a joy to watch.
I think the only goals he ever scores are rebounds. So to see him, take the ball from Armstrong in his stride and just smash it home, it was lovely. And I thought Gineppo took his goal pretty well. He does what he does best. He kind of was on the edge of the box, kind of cut back and then slotted it home. It was good to see. But I think Redmond will claim that space back, because other than his goal, I haven't been that impressed with Gineppo personally. Obviously, he's a good little player, but I don't think he has the same kind of credibility as what the likes of Redmond has. Particularly his link-up play. He seemed quite sloppy in possession. So I'm glad that Redmond's back fit.
Yeah, he's a bit unpredictable, is Gineppo. I mean, you don't really know what he's going to do with the ball. It's a bit confusing in terms of that, but that can work to his advantage.
Yeah.
Defenders don't know what he's going to do. But I think he's a better option, obviously, than the likes of Smallbone for now.
Agreed.
But I still would prefer Redmond over Gineppo, obviously, like you say.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I think Gineppo will be a brilliant impact sub for us, because when teams are tired, the last thing you want to see is this winger come on that's willing to take people on. And we saw last season, took people on down the line, pinged the ball in, and Ings, I think, got 2 or 3 goals from Gineppo assists. So he's one of those players, but I just don't think he's kind of in the starting lineup for me.
Yeah, FPL wise, I'd probably go Armstrong over Gineppo in the same
Yeah,
price bracket.
definitely.
The safer option, I'd say.
Yeah, and
Shall we talk Shea Adams?
yeah, oh man, I feel so sorry for this guy. I think he's one of the unluckiest strikers I've ever seen. He could have and should have probably scored twice. The save from Johnson for one of his strikes was unbelievable. And then there's the other one where he kind of running on and he almost looks to place it bottom corner, because he's just not getting any luck with smashing it. And then he places it like a foot wide. If you've got him, as harsh as it is, I'd maybe look to move him on, because it just doesn't seem to be breaking for him. And obviously, when we get rid of him, he'll score. But I've got a feel for the man.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to bite the bullet and take him out, as painful as it is, considering you've held him for 3-4 weeks now. I mean, the return will come, but there's no guarantee it will come.
No, and I think he's the ideal partner for Ings. Like the kind of the partnership that those two are developing. They seem to know where each other is on the pitch at the time. Obviously, that was amplified by the goal against Burnley. The touch and then the play from Adams into Ings. But the goals just don't seem there for Adams at the moment, and I really hope they do come, because he deserves the goals for his work effort. The strength of that lad is unbelievable.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I think I'm less worried as a Saints fan, more worried if I was a owner in FPL.
Yeah.
I think he's playing well and he's a benefit to the team. Obviously, you don't get points for that in FPL.
No. I think the other player we should probably mention is Vestergaard. Obviously, kept his place after a really good performance against Burnley, and I thought he played really well again. However, I still stand by the fact that he suits these types of games, and I worry that he could get caught out against the likes of Chelsea and Liverpool, who have got that pace, because he can read the game really well, but he hasn't got the pace if someone gets in behind him. And we could potentially still see the old switcheroo between him and Stevens, depending on the game.
I think that's the way to go, to be honest. I think he just doesn't cut it against pacey strikers.
No.
But for a battle, he's there and he can do a job against the West Broms and the Burnleys of this world. I think he's the right defender to play, but until we can see maybe if he reads the game better and he can make up that extra yard through reading the game, I think he's just going to be safe for those physical games.
Yeah. And finally, whilst we're on Saints, Theo's home.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that temporarily.
Yeah, Walcott has come home. Did you see his interview?
I haven't seen it. Well, I've seen like the announcement and stuff, but I've not actually listened to the interview.
Worth a watch. He's got a good 10-minute interview, and he looks so happy. Honestly, like the fact he says that he could cry when he gets on the pitch just turned me around, because I was a bit umming and ahhing about this transfer. I'm not going to lie. Like, it feels like a very much a transfer that we're bringing in for a bit of nostalgia and all that stuff. But the more I think about it, kind of his experience in the dressing room, I think will be really good. He's a different kind of winger to the wingers that we've got. So I can still see him, getting goals, and he clearly loves the club. And if you're bringing in a player that loves the club and wants to wear the shirt, it can only be a benefit. So I really hope we see him, but I don't think he'll be in the starting lineup personally.
Yeah, I was a bit miffed to see us the signing happening, to be honest. Skeptical at first, but now it's happened. I'm willing to see how it goes and back him, obviously, because I like him as a player. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I don't expect him to start either. I feel like he'll be very much coming on in the second half as an impact substitute to begin with, at least anyway.
It's a great impact sub to have.
Exactly. He's pacey. He's done a good job for Everton doing that, coming on as a sub. So I think, we'll start him as an impact sub and then see how it goes. I think if he obviously impresses, then they'll start him.
Yeah. And obviously, we're only paying 50% of his wages, so we can't complain about that. And it gives my dad a chance to bring Theo back into his fantasy team, because I think for the last 4 or 5 years he started with him, and this year he didn't. So he's clearly going to bring him back.
It's been your dad's golden boy all these years.
Yeah, can't wait to see him. Oh God, yeah. Right, let's jump on then. Arsenal 2, Sheffield United 1. It wasn't a great game. I managed to watch this one. Arsenal and Sheffield United, to be fair, were terrible in the first half. I thought it was a really, really dull game. And it wasn't until Arteta made the tactical substitution, bringing Nketiah off, putting Aubameyang through the middle, and then playing Pepe out on the right and Willian out on the left, that it changed. Because for me, it was lacking that kind of drive. But as soon as Pepe came on, changed. His link-up play, particularly with Bellerin, which was surprising. They got forward, and they just seemed to cut through Sheffield United, which was really good. And I think Pepe deserves more minutes. Like, he's had an impact, I think, most times that he's come on now. So we could potentially see Arsenal trying to fit Willian and Pepe in that lineup. And does that mean that we now see Aubameyang through the middle a bit more?
I hope so. Wow, I don't own him, but
no,
I hope Aubameyang owners anyway.
Well, yeah, bring him back as an asset as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, it certainly would. I think Pepe's looked decent from what I've seen of him so far this season. I think he's got a bit more confidence now.
Yeah, and Bellerin obviously got both assists. I think a lot of people were on Tierney to start the season. You're on Tierney yourself, yeah. And he seems to be either being played left back if it's a 4, or left of the 3 if they're playing a back 5. Whereas Bellerin seems to be the one that's getting forward a little bit more and linking up with that front 3. And obviously we saw it in this game. So I think, let's just have a quick look. Bellerin, only 5 million in the game, and only owned by 5%. So if he keeps that performance up, he's definitely a good differential to maybe jump on.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, I think on the other side, McGoldrick, lovely finish, but I wouldn't really touch Sheffield United. Defensively, I'm on Egan at the moment, and I'm struggling with that one. I'm kind of looking to move him on. And I do worry that there is going to be a lot of pressure on Brewster. Obviously, 4.5 million in the game, just signed for Sheffield United, but he's going to be expected to get the goals I think that they need. And for a young lad, that's a hell of a lot of pressure.
Especially with all the wild cards that he's going to be going into as well.
God, yeah. I expect he probably knows that as well. Being a lad, he's no doubt he's got an FPL team somewhere. Surely they all do, don't they?
Yeah, no, I think so.
He'll be signing himself.
Rotation between Souček and Brewster is apparently favourable. So you can have fill your team with a power 5 midfield.
Well, yeah, and Souček dropped in price last night as well. So
yeah, another one of my players dropping in price.
Brilliant.
Cheers, everyone.
All right, well, we don't really need to talk about Arsenal, Sheffield United too much more. We'll jump onto Wolves Fulham, and I know you watched this game.
I certainly did, much to my frustration. Watching with eager eyes for Jimenez, captain. The returns just never really came. He snatched at his chances. He was greedy at points, which I was actually happy to see.
Yeah, he was.
There's an opportunity where he could have quite easily passed, but carried on.
Yeah, could have passed to Podence. I was fucking fuming. I was so angry with him. I know I've got them both, but Podence was in. Should have played the ball.
No return, obviously, for me, but I've only brought him in this week. The reactive thing to do would be to take him out and then bring in Calvert-Lewin, but I'm not going to do that. I think he's a consistent player, and one game is not enough to judge him on, even if it is Fulham. I think I'm more than happy to wait, give him at least 3 games, see how he does. And then worst comes to it, I can bring Calvert-Lewin in when he's at the same price as Jimenez at 8.5.
Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, they play Leeds, Newcastle, and Crystal Palace next. I think, given we've just got on Jimenez, it would be an odd decision to get rid. And to be fair, I'm not going to lie, I have contemplated it. I have contemplated taking out Jimenez for the likes of Watkins, which would give me the money to upgrade Foden to Son. But I don't know if that's too reactive. I know, obviously, Jimenez, they go on to play Leeds. If they can find a way to get him behind, Jimenez could get goals. And I'm a bit concerned that Spurs, when they play West Ham, it's always a difficult game. West Ham are always up for it. And I don't think with the way West Ham have been playing, Son is likely to get in behind as easily as he has found it. So I potentially will hold. I think it's one of those moves that you think about, I was raging at the end of this game week again. I've dropped down below 3 million. I'm like, no, I've got to make changes, but I'm not playing my wild card. Who can I get rid of? But the more I look at it, the more it just seems stupid.
Yeah, it's a bit reactive, I think. And obviously we know Son's going to get like a 2-point haul next time he plays, because that's the pattern he's been working off.
It is, yeah.
All right. Should we move on to first the unexpected, chaotic, mental games?
Starting off with the miraculous healing of Heung-min Son, and the fact that I think it was 1.3 million managers took him out this week, only to see him not only start, but then get 2 goals and an assist in a complete mindfuck of a game.
Crazy. So much so was the fury of FPL managers that Took Son was trending for quite a while on Twitter.
It was.
People were writing, I've took Son out my team. I'm fucking furious. People obviously feel betrayed by Jose, but that's what he does. He fucks with the press. He fucks with other managers' team tactics.
Yeah, well,
Like
I was
they're
pissed off.
preparing for a team again without a Son, and then he starts Son.
No,
So
I was pissed off myself because I'm playing fan team this season, and I had Son on my team, and obviously that's for good money, and I took Son out only to miss out on the horrendous amount of points that you got. So yeah, Mourinho owes me 200,000 euros, but the game started strangely, didn't it? 30 seconds in, and Man United obviously won a penalty. Fernandez slotting at home as he normally does, and I thought, oh, here we go. Only for 2.5 minutes later for Spurs to go up the other end and get a goal. And from then, wow. Spurs were dominant. Like, even though Man United went down to 10 men, I thought, from the moment Spurs got that equaliser, they were going to ruin Man United anyway. The 10 men has only just kind of
exacerbated the problem.
Yeah, that's the word. It's one of those performances where it's difficult to analyse because Man United was so bad, but the media have really focused on that, whereas I think Spurs were brilliant. They really were.
I'm really impressed. Harry Kane, like in terms of assists, has really stepped up this year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just his general play. I think I've completely disregarded him, and each week that he carries on with these performances, I'm gonna have to take a look at him.
Yeah, no, I can see what you mean. Like, it almost feels as though Kane, and a lot of people saying, but Kane is back to his best, and this is the Kane we want to see. But the way that they're playing suits him because the partnership he's got with Son at the moment is unbelievable, and I think that's only going to be amplified when they've got Bale on the other side.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how that's going to pan out. I bet Spurs fans can't wait for Bale to be back as well.
Yeah.
I'd love to bring Bale into my team, to be honest.
Yep.
Obviously, you've got Son at 0.5 cheaper, who's clearly doing a great job.
Yeah.
But
it would feel a bit of an odd move.
My team.
Oh, it'd be pretty just to say we've got Gareth Bale, but at the moment it would feel a bit of a strange move given Son's performances and the fact that he's cheaper. What do you think Mourinho thought of Eric Lamela? Because we've seen in All or Nothing, he particularly wanted his team to play like a bunch of C's. Don't want to say the word. Lamela did that. Obviously, kind of elbowed Martial, got a bit of an gist, and then Martial, so petulant, but then kind of slaps Lamela in the face, and he goes down, and he got his man sent off. It's not what you want to see watching Premier League football, and it's a terrible advertisement for kids. But he's clearly done what his manager wants him to do there.
Yeah, it's the dark arts from Lamela.
Very.
It's not sure what I'd define as a bastard. I'd compare that to being tough and like a more Eric Dyer kind of approach than the pansy kind of dropping to the floor Lamela style. But I think Jose's on board with either approach. I think he just wants to win and win at all costs. And if you can get a player sent off, I think he's more than happy for that to happen.
Yeah, and I've just been impressed with Spurs to start the season. Like defensively, still not incredibly solid. It was interesting to see Aurier play ahead of Doherty, but I thought Aurier had a really good game.
He looked good. He looked great.
Yeah, that could be one that we see kind of, them switching between them because I know Mourinho's had his doubts about Aurier, and as he does, he's gone public with the fact of his criticism. But I don't think Doherty is as nailed as people thought.
Yeah, and perhaps a worry for owners, really. I'd be concerned if I was an owner. Like, you don't want a 6 mil player getting rotated.
No, definitely not. But even Man United, I suppose we should talk about them a little bit. Just Harry Maguire. What did you see the moment in which he pulls Shaw to the floor?
Out of the way.
What's he doing?
Like, horrendous.
I think his mind's gone at the moment, and there are just rumours, but I've read that there was a bust-up between Fernandez and Maguire at halftime in the dressing room. And the reason that Fernandez was subbed at halftime is because he criticised Maguire, told him that he wasn't fit enough to have the armband, and refused to calm down. Whether it's true, it could be complete bullshit. But it wouldn't surprise me because Fernandez feels like the type of player to not worry about who he's talking to. He'll call them out because he looks like he's got such passion. And he had it for Sporting Lisbon. Like, obviously, he was the captain out there, and he's renowned for getting into players and dressing rooms. So I wasn't surprised when I read it, but that's going to cause some problems, surely, if that's true.
Yeah, no, I've heard that rumor as well. That obviously he's known for speaking out, and apparently, yeah, he said like along the lines of "you're not fit to wear the shirts," is what I saw. Um, yeah, not a great thing to say to him. I think I'm
No,
not sure how I would feel if I was Harry Maguire.
no, I'm not sure, but Harry Maguire, just he looks off the pace at the moment, and I don't know whether it's this summer fiasco, obviously with his issue in Greece, whether that's still lingering over him. But he just doesn't look the same player as he has done previously, and I think it's affecting players around him. Even Bailly, he had a brilliant cup game the game before, came in, everyone thought, this is going to be more of an assured partnership. Nah, wasn't at all.
No, he's not looked good. I think FPL Chef shared a video of Paul Merson actually discussing him, and it's one of the few times that you actually agree with Paul Merson, and
Okay.
he's saying he didn't rate the signing at all. And this was like a year ago, I think. Sort of saying about how he's good in a team that plays deep defensively, but as soon as you're playing with a high line like Man United do, he's getting done. He's getting done over the top. He's getting done by pacey strikers. He's a bit like Vestergaard in that way.
Yeah, no, very
Not
much
very
so.
mobile. He's good at heading the ball clear when he's playing deep in a team like Leicester,
Yeah.
defending behind the ball. But yeah, in a team with a high line, he gets caught out and he's prone to a few errors as well.
Yep, no, true. And obviously with Martial's suspension, I think he gets a 3-game ban. So could we see Cavani coming up through the middle now that United have signed him? Very, very strange signing for me. Feels very short-termism, but that's United at the moment.
Yeah, it's a bit like basically a worse signing than what Ibrahimovic was, really, to be honest. It's a similar style, an aging good striker, but I think Ibrahimovic was a better player at that time anyway. He was starting for PSG, whereas Cavani didn't even play that much last season.
No, I don't think he's played for 7 months. And I believe he was spending a lot of time on a farm over lockdown. So we'll have to see. All right, let's move on because we've got another mental game to talk about. I think Aston Villa 7, Liverpool 2. Wow.
Says it all, doesn't it? What a game. I was shell-shocked, to be honest. You're looking at Villa 4-1 up after hardly, 20, 30 minutes?
I think it was 25, 30 minutes.
Bloody crazy. Obviously, Ollie Watkins, great hat-trick, great performance, looked very sharp, took his goals well.
Yeah.
They weren't easy goals to score as well.
No, and to be
he
fair,
had a lot to do for one of them.
And it was the perfect hat-trick, obviously left foot, right foot header. So
yeah, exactly. He had it all.
Not a bad way to.
I did not see this coming.
No, not at all. I thought, obviously, we'll touch on Villa first before we get into Liverpool, but I thought Ross Barkley was incredible. He was almost playing as the second striker alongside Ollie Watkins. And I think that helped him because it gave Ollie Watkins a lot of space to run into. And Jack Grealish was magnificent. Obviously, I think he got five attacking returns in the game, three assists and 2 goals. But he made a mug of a Van Dijk. Have you seen the video where he kind of turns him inside, turns him outside, and then nutmegs him? Is a through ball for Barkley, and obviously Barkley puts it wide. But I think that summed up Grealish's game. He was incredible. And
yeah, reminiscent of when he was in form last season, and then some. I think what a performance to get 5 attacking returns against Liverpool. Says it all. I think he was at the heart of everything they were doing. Villa fans are going to remember this for the rest of their lives.
Oh, you'd expect so.
I mean, it's not every day you turn Liverpool over 7-2. I think.
No, and
a magical performance for them, and it's a real shame that the fans couldn't be there.
Yeah, no.
Special as it is seeing it on TV, it's not the same. I think they'd kill to have been there.
Oh well, yeah, and I think even John McGinn kind of went under the radar a little bit, but I thought he played very well. And I've just been incredibly impressed by Aston Villa. And we've even got, is it Traore, another one. He's obviously made a kind of sub appearance towards the end of the game, but they've got him to come in and get fit and coming down that wing. Villa are the team on form.
Signings. Yeah,
Yeah,
they've made some great signings. A bit like Everton, they've just strengthened everywhere they needed to.
yeah, I've been incredibly impressed, and even defensively, like they look a lot more assured. And to be fair, they did post lockdown, didn't they? We all touched on the fact that Aston Villa looked better defensively, and now they've signed, Martinez, and they've brought in Cash as well, who looks very good, kind of as a fullback. Villa are one to keep an eye on, and fixture wise, I think what they've got coming up is actually pretty decent as well. Like they play obviously Leicester this weekend, but then they've got Leeds, Southampton, Brighton, West Ham, Newcastle in their next 6. Is now the time to jump on Aston Villa?
Yeah, I think you could potentially look at Grealish and Watkins. I wouldn't maybe look too much further than that. Maybe Barkley. But yeah, I think you could potentially jump on them. Grealish at 7 million. I think that's a decent pick for that price point.
Oh, incredibly. I'm kind of very much a wait and see. I'd like the look of Watkins, but I want to see where Barkley continues to play. Because if he keeps playing that high line, I think, he can get goals and assists, no problem. And he's a very good player. So playing around, the type of team that he's in now with Villa, I think that could really suit his game. So it'll be good and one to watch.
Yeah, I think so. I think I wouldn't go mental and fucking double up or triple up on players, which
No,
some
not at the
people
moment.
probably inevitably will.
Of course they will.
But I think one player wouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
From Villa.
On the other side, Liverpool. I think Klopp touched on it at the end. It's one of those games where you kind of hope Liverpool got all of their mistakes out of the way. I know 3 of the goals were ridiculous deflections, which Adrian could do nothing about. But from the offset, when he makes that mistake, obviously leading to Ollie Watkins' first goal, you kind of got the feeling that it was going to be one of those games for Liverpool. And it's almost like Aston Villa had worked on the fact that Liverpool play this high press and this high line. Very much like, obviously, we've spoken about Southampton. And if you're not on your game at the time with a high press and a high line, and you make a little mistake, like Joe Gomez was keeping a player on side, kind of Trent didn't follow his man on the wing when we saw Watkins take him on. If you're caught out at that high line, teams can get in behind so easily. And Villa kind of compounded that, didn't they?
Yeah, they kept getting done over and over again in the same way defensively. The high line, just getting done. One ball over the top and they're through.
Yeah,
every time. It was insane. It was like Saints. It was reminiscent of that. It just kept happening.
Yeah, very much so. And
they didn't change anything.
No, and in the second half, it almost seemed like they just accepted it and had given up, because I think obviously the ball where Grealish, he ran through and scored his goal, but Watkins had exactly the same and arguably should have scored. Like Villa could have had 10.
They definitely could have. Every time they got put through, they looked like they were going to score.
They really did. So it was one of those games. Obviously, Salah, if people captained him, you still got double return. Fair play. But they were missing Mane. They were missing Thiago. Gomez, I've got a feel for him, but he didn't look great. And obviously, they're missing Alisson. So they had some big injuries and some issues, obviously, with COVID. This isn't the Liverpool that we're going to see week in, week out. I think this is a one-off. And I fully expect Everton. Everton is the game that they'd want to come back to. The Merseyside derby. They're going to be on it, aren't they?
Yeah, they're gonna want it to win. They're gonna want to show people that Villa performance was a strict one-off. That's not happening again.
No.
And they'll hopefully send a message to Everton. Is what they'll be aiming to do anyway.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So, that I think sums up the mad game week. How did you get on? I
just said questions, but yeah, I skipped over how I got on.
You did, yeah.
I had a good game week, which I don't think most people did. So I'm quite pleased about my team's performance. So I got 67 points.
Nice.
Game week rank of 1 million. That's 7 million players. Not too bad. Puts me at 400k overall. So I'm pleased with that.
Yeah, no, so you should be. I, on the other hand, did terribly again. Got 40 points. Salah and Calvert-Lewin were my only returns. Obviously, didn't captain either of them. Captain De Bruyne. The issue is that I'm still not overly sad about my team, and that's a worry. But the thing that's keeping me going is the fact that I'm seeing so many people within the community suffering the same issues at the moment. So I'm hoping it turns around. But yeah, I'm sat at
It's early days. It's early days.
yeah, and although I'm 3 million places behind you, I'm only 56 points behind. So, stuff to play for. But I think we'll touch on our teams a bit more. We're going to do a record next Tuesday, aren't we? With kind of our analysis of both Sky and FPL. So I think that's an episode where we'll properly analyze. Right, now we can jump on the questions. All right, the first question comes in from FPL Thomas. What can FPL learn from Sky Fantasy Football? Obviously, a game that we've been playing as fresh as this season.
I think generally FPL does get most things right. I think maybe it would be nice if they implemented similar graphics to Sky with the players' faces on the actual team screen.
Yeah.
I think that would be quite a nice feature to have. Whether it's feasible or not, I don't know. Obviously, Sky probably have a bigger budget for things like that.
Although they do tend to have some blank players for a while, like Fernandez.
Yeah, so it's clearly not all gravy on the Sky side, but I think they could, try and do that. That might be something a good feature. I think users would appreciate.
Yep.
One idea I thought of is perhaps they could introduce the tiers from Sky, and then potentially, I guess, make it replace BPS, or maybe have a combination of the two. It would be nice to see defensive midfielders actually become more of an option, other than penalties with like Jorginho. It'd be nice to see tackle tiers maybe, but obviously you risk then overcomplicating the game.
Yeah, I think that's the issue. Sky have obviously done it well. Obviously, they don't have BPS; they just have man of the match and their tiering system. Yeah, if you were to kind of amalgamate the two, it might become quite complicated. But I love the tiers. We'll talk about it more next week. But I think that the tiering system in Sky is brilliant, and it, like you said, it allows for more players within the game to be options, which can only be a benefit. For me, I think just touching on the way we play the game, I think patience and planning is stuff that you could take from Sky through to fantasy football, because you only get 40 transfers in Sky, and that is it. And you get 2 overhauls, which you have to play in the game weeks. And you obviously get captaincies for daily captaincies rather than single game week captaincies. So for me, a spreadsheet is essential for Sky. And kind of patience, not taking out players that are injured for a week to then waste the transfer to then have to bring them back in, because there are going to be people that have had Son game week 1, took him out, Holden game week 2, brought him back in for game week 3, got injured, took him out for game week 4, scored. Had you not transferred him out, you're gonna have those points, aren't you? So I think for me that would be what I'd take forward. Question from David Strom: what's the best double up going forward?
Best double up going forward?
Yes.
Aguero and KDB for me.
Good shout. I'd probably say very much the same. Although I wouldn't argue with the Son Kane double up at the moment. I think that's one to maybe keep an eye on if you've got the budget. But yeah, probably those two, David. Question from Rebel FPL. This one made me chuckle, and I think it's a straight answer. But a -4 every day until the break is over is a good idea. Please change my mind.
No, Bad Rebel. No.
just don't do it. I mean, you are talking -40 points. If you've not got your wild card and you've spunked it, sorry, that's your own fault. But no, just log out and walk away if you've got that mindset, mate. And then finally, save obviously the best to last. I've given him the title again this week. It's the ever-present Ronald 9. A Robertson and TAA double up is the flavour of the month at the best of times. However, it doesn't seem viable whilst Alisson is out injured. Agreed?
I feel the attacking returns are still there, but defensively they do tend to be a mess without Alisson. So I wouldn't be banking on clean sheets. So perhaps don't go on the double up considering Alisson's now out, I'd say.
Yeah, just touching on that. Obviously, If you've got them, I wouldn't transfer them out. But if you don't have the double up, I wouldn't chase it either. I think I'd hold off until Allison's back fit.
Agreed.
Cool. Well, I think that sums up the show for this week. We've touched an hour, as we always do. But I think as we've touched on, next Tuesday, with it being the international break, I think we're going to do a show that's going to more analyse the season so far, the mistakes that we've made, but we're going to do it for both FPL and Sky, because as we've touched on, we're both new players to the Sky game. I think we're both thoroughly enjoying it and are having pretty good season so far. Both made mistakes, but I think we've both benefited from various other pods and helpings out. So we're going to run through that next week.
Yeah, agreed. I'm looking forward to doing it. I've been thoroughly enjoying Sky.
Yeah, well, as always, we appreciate everybody. Like, share, subscribe on YouTube, and get listening on. We're available on all platforms. Google, Apple, Spotify. We're on Anchor, and you can view our link tree on Twitter at Season Keepers, as always. But it's been great talking to you, James, and I will speak to you again next week, mate.
Cheers. Been good talking to you, Matt. See you later.
See you later, mate. Bye.